What's good, guys? It's your boy Jay Will, and we're back with another sync banger. Today we're going to be talking about a sync rep publishing agreement. You ever heard of one of these before? Well, we're going to be breaking this bad boy down today because it's essential if you're going to start getting sync placements. So we're going to break down the ins and outs, the key components, negotiation tips, and red flags you should probably look out for. And at the end, as always, we're going to give a bonus tip, so make sure you stay to the end. Let's get started with the basics. A sync rep publishing agreement is a contract between you, the music creator, and a publisher or sync rep like a music library or a sync agent in order to represent your music to find sync licensing opportunities. Think of them as like a superhero sidekick to your Batman who's always got your back in the world of sync. Now let's break down the key components and pay attention now because it gets juicy. First thing you should probably look for when you get one of these agreements is the terms. Now the terms is something that's very simple. It just means how long the agreement's going to end up lasting. Typically what I've personally seen is anywhere between something as small as 6 months to about 2 years time. And essentially what this means is after that 2 years is over with and maybe you're not happy with the amount of placements that you've gotten with that sync rep, you can take your music out and maybe give it to another sync agent if it's an exclusive deal. We'll get to that later. Next is the territory. This defines exactly where your music can be placed. If it can't be placed in the metaverse or maybe in specific countries because of the language or politic barriers. This can be very important because if you're in a certain country and your library is in a different one, you might be limiting yourself as to what can be used. So always look for the worldwide territory clause in order to avoid stuff like this. The more countries, the merrier. Then there's exclusivity. This determines whether just one publisher can rep your stuff or multiple. So there's exclusive, which means that only one person can rep your stuff. And then there's non-exclusive, meaning that you can give your track to Sally, John, your favorite sync rep over here. You can give it to this library, unlimited opportunities. But they normally pay a little bit less just because of supply and demand. If I can get this song here for a cheaper price, I'm probably gonna go for it. So weigh your pros and cons and determine what's best for your career goals. Here's the next thing, commission, okay? Most sync reps will scour the web, their contacts, and all these other different types of avenues to find opportunities for your music. And they do it for free. But after they finally land something of your music, that's when the commission kicks in. It's great because everybody has incentive to make sure that your music gets into the best opportunities and that your pay is going to be as large as they can make it. So all you have to do is sit back in the studio and make more music while they go find more opportunities to get it placed. And normally they take around this percentage, give or take, it depends. And if you've already gotten placements before, sometimes you might be able to negotiate a better rate depending on how many placements you've already found or gotten. If it's time to renew your publishing agreement, maybe those are the instances that you can start to kind of, hey, I've done X amount of work for you guys. Can we maybe shift the percentages around a little bit? And then there's rights and obligations. This outlines what both parties, you and your sync rep, can and cannot do. And this is great to comb over so there's no room for any shady business. If you're digging these tips so far, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to our channel and drop a comment down below if you have any experiences or if we forgot something. Now let's talk about red flags. These are things you need to just look out for just in case. No one should ever just sign an agreement without actually going through it. Also, I am not a legal advisor. Please take anything I'm saying with a grain of salt. This is just from my experience of what I've been able to find. First thing, unreasonably long terms. If the agreement locks you in for an excessive amount of time for no reason, without any clear benefits, like maybe they give you an extra percentage or something of that nature, your song shouldn't be held exclusively for more than 2, maybe 3 years. Tops. Like signing a gym membership that lasts 3-4 years and you only decide to go to the gym maybe for a couple months. You'd be stuck in a commitment that doesn't serve your needs. So just make sure that the term length is long enough to be reasonable, allows you enough flexibility and room to grow and develop as an artist. Red flag number 2, vague language that can be easily misinterpreted. Ambiguous terms in an agreement is a red flag for me. It should be super clear, concise, and to the point, because misunderstandings in any contract is going to lead to an advantage to whoever wrote it up, right? Contractual agreements are kind of like a roadmap to a party. You want to make sure that you're giving concise directions, because if you don't and it's super vague, they might end up getting lost or in the wrong place. So by any means, if something's not clear, make sure you ask questions. Red flag number 3, unfair commission rates. Make sure you pay close attention to the percentages that a sync rep is going to be taking from your placements. Although they do deserve some type of cut for helping you get the placement, if the rates seem a little lopsided where they're actually getting more, you should probably start to look at them with a side eye. Like imagine if you and a friend decide to go halvesies on a pizza and they end up eating 90% of it. That's not fair, right? So ensure that the commission rate is reasonable and reflects a fair distribution of earnings for each party, meaning you and the sync rep. And the last thing that's kind of vague, but I personally just don't really agree with too much, is vague termination clauses. This honestly just means that anytime I want to cut off the agreement and maybe take my music and give it to someone else, I have to jump through a bunch of hoops to do it. You rarely find contracts like this, so it's not something to worry about too much. But the best way to describe a vague termination clause is if your roommate, for instance, boss just kicks you out of your apartment without any notice. You come home from work and all your stuff's on the lawn even though you paid rent. Just weird, right? So ensure termination conditions are clear and concise so that you're not caught off guard down the line and you're thinking that your music's getting pitched and worked out in the field, but it's actually on the front lawn. Bonus tip, as always, and again, don't listen to me because I'm not a music attorney, but you should probably always have one to review the agreement before signing. They normally are really keen at catching these sneaky clauses that we just talked about to ensure the best decision for your music career. This is the one I use all the time. Roger's really great. You should check him out. We actually interviewed him with our students to kind of make sure that we were doing the right things with samples and things of that nature in sync licensing. If you guys have questions about that, let me know in the comments. But understanding a sync rep publishing agreement is extremely important, not just for protecting your music, but it's how we make the most out of our sync licensing opportunities. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell over here for more tips on sync licensing. Until next time, keep making dope stuff. Peace.